Kissa Kippan. When you drink, drink. When you eat, eat. Happy New Year, everybody! I hope you had a relaxing break during Christmas and New Year holidays. Welcome to the third episode of Japanese Street Wisdom Podcast. I'm your host, Kanariya Eishi, and I am an English Rakugo performer based here in New Zealand. If you're new to this podcast, please listen to the first two episodes as well. There's a tiny surprise if you listen to episode 1 and episode 2 in that order. Today, I will be talking about the Japanese saying Kissa Kippan, which means when you drink, drink. When you eat, eat. This is actually a Zen saying to encourage people to focus on one task at a time. It talks about eating and drinking, but of course it's not limited to these, but can be applied to pretty much everything in your life. But eating and drinking is so essential, you can't keep on living without eating and drinking. So appreciating every mouthful of food and drink is a great place to start to learn and cultivate how to be mindful. And by the way, have you ever had a discussion with someone whether multitasking is really possible? I have had this conversation with my wife many times, and she seems to think that she's good at it, and I suck at it. Well, I'm not a multitasker, but according to brain physiology, human brain is not really made for multitasking. So what multitasking really means is that you're switching back and forth between tasks. And each time you change your task, you lose focus. And also brain energy is wasted to refocus on the new task. So it's not efficient. So maybe, just maybe, my wife might be just good at focusing and refocusing quicker than I am. But this ancient wisdom of Kissa Kippan seems to be more consistent with how brain actually works. That's my take. Here is my morning ritual that I do every day to cultivate this mindful state, which I have named coffee ceremony. How it works is that I use an Italian moka pot, which is the stovetop espresso maker, the one you use on fire, which kind of looks like a weapon from Star Wars or something. First, I wash my special cup, a handmade cup made of a potter. I normally use ground espresso mix, but when I have coffee beans and time as well, then I grind beans from the scratch. I use water filter, the one that looks like a jug, and pour water into moka pot and fill in the freshly ground coffee. And start the fire. And I wait for the beautiful smell start wafting from the pot. I love that moment when coffee starts bubbling up and the seductive aroma reaches my nose. That moment is just so divine. And I pour the coffee into my handmade cup with a saucer. And then I take my newborn baby, I'm talking about the coffee by the way, to the deck outside, breathing in the morning air and the aroma of the coffee. And that moment, when the first droplet of espresso touches the tip of my tongue, it's so intense that it makes me speechless. If it's sunny, I feel the sun on my skin, and if it's windy, the wind, and sometimes it rains. Then I look at the rain as I sip my concoction, the dangerous concoction. I do all this by myself outside on the deck without my wife or kids because this, what I call a ritual, really helps me live each moment, the concept of Kissa Kippan throughout the day. And I carry on with that feeling of staying here and now for the rest of the day. And even if I stay away from it during the day, I now know where to go back to that mental state of being here and now. It is my wish that today you will really taste, like really taste a cup of coffee or tea, or maybe a piece of fruit or a bowl of breakfast cereals. Thank you so much for listening to Japanese Street Wisdom Podcast again. And if you liked it, please share it with your friends and family. And even if you didn't like it, still do share it with your enemies to give them a bad time. Hey, here's a link to a fantastic podcast. It's a great way for revenge. What am I talking about? But anyway, hope you all have that beautiful cup of tea or coffee today. See you next time.